All right. Hey, Marty. All right, round two. So I rearranged a little bit and added some features to the game. All right, so zone one, I rearranged over here. I moved it over a bit so the player can start off at the campfire. Same kind of thing, go up to the puzzle, get the loot, cruise back down. When he gets here, he can walk across the bridge. And then this is going to be the tutorial zone of showing how to fight a robot. So he goes over, he fights his little robot friend who's pretty stuck on this AI area, so not too scary. Once the player explores the area, he'll find this little sneaky robot hanging out in the corner, and if he chooses to, he'll collide with them and trigger them, and then they can fight. Or maybe he just lets them sleep there. But learning zone. Come back over, charge up by the fire, go back across the bridge, and now in order to leave the tutorial zone, the player must push blocks over some sort of puzzle to push this or to trigger the bridge to open up. In zone two, the player will cross over. Here's our little AI friend that he's, dealt with before, so we can beat him up. There's torches here. The torches are for the player to take if he wants, and that'll add to his candle light. So if he wants to, he can take those torches and then go into the maze, which is going to be pretty dark. There will be a few robots in here that'll be glowing because they have their own source, and there may be one that's just kind of sleeping there that's also triggered. So there's going to be 4 enemies in this zone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's 5. Whoops. Wait, no, that doesn't count. These 2 are in tutorial. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and there's probably just one hiding under there. 4. All right, so once the player is done with the maze, he comes out into the light, battles this little robot here that's protecting the fire. Now he's going to come through, do the jumping puzzle, push blocks, get berserker mode. Yay! He comes into this zone, and this is where he's going to learn to use his berserker mode. He's going to go through the little mini maze, beat up some robots, come to the light, get some loot, recharge. Recharge his candle light. Comes back out. All right, great. Now he goes over this bridge here. This is where he's going to use the berserk mode if he wants to. There's 3 enemies at the front, 3 at the end, and the 1 in between. So player can go through, use berserk, use a sword attack. All right, cool, winning. Going through zone 4 still. Is that right? Yeah. And here, I kind of would like to make it more of like a walk around, interesting maze-ish loot finding, push stuff out of the way. Oh no, there's a robot, or oh cool, I found loot. Kind of interesting zone. Next, the player is going to use our little quartz friends to hop up the wall, and here's our robots that are firing at him. The player can choose to beat up the robots and take the loot, or just make it all the way up. In zone 5, the player is going to trigger this cave here. He's also going to, if he wants to, he can take the torches and bring them in with him so he's nice and charged up. In this zone, all right, in zone 5, the cave will be dark. The player will need to make sure it has enough light before he goes in. So some robots glow a dim red, and as the player makes it through the cave, I'm looking at my rating. Okay, yeah, so the player can be sneaky or not throughout the cave. He's going to be turning his candle on and off, which he actually did learn over, I want to say in this area, because it's a mini maze, so he does learn to turn his candle off and off to be sneaky or not. In this maze, he's same thing, learns to be sneaky or conserve his candle light by turning it off and on. In the cave, conserving the candle off and on. He'll get to the battle room in here after he makes it, past the other robots. He gets to the battle room, and the first robot he, beats up and destroys, he's going to receive a bouncy ball. So the bouncy ball is going to be on a time recharger, but the ball will be hit off the sword and bounce off the walls and enemies and torches and trees and rocks and platforms. So the player must use the ball bounce to hit the platform and knock down the red crystal that's in the middle of the room. Once the red crystal is knocked down and the player retrieves it, it'll be added to the sword and give the player knockback when he uses the sword. That'll be handy for enemies. Alright, so after he defeats the enemies, it'll trigger him to come back to the zone. He'll come out here. He's going to hop back up this wall again with the moving platforms that go in and out of the wall. Watch out for robots throwing down rocks or bricks or whatever it is that robots throw. This zone, I would like it to be, of course, fun, but a zone to play with the new bouncy ball, push stuff over, with the bouncy ball, battle robots with Berserker, kind of just a fun area. So once the player is done with that, especially over here, because the player can like bounce the ball and knock the torches over and, go retrieve them and get the robots to power down so he can go in and clear the zone. Hop back down the wall. There will be 3 robots hanging out in here that the player will get rid of. This one's optional because he's across the river, but there's a torch over there and some loot, so it's really exciting. He'll use the push rocks to get across and make a bridge from the waterfall. Player hops back down. Through here, this is another push rock kind of puzzle. He can push the rocks over to make a bridge, and would be good for the player to get rid of these robots here and collect their loot, collect their light and whatnot. Player can also go across the bridge, recharge with his fire, and then it'll be time for the player to go into the boss fight. So player comes into the boss fight. There's all this light here. Alright, boss fight. Water reflects the light. Use the ball to knock out the lights. This will dim the robot power. Use Berserker, knockback, sword fight, push rocks. The boss is powered by light. Defeat the boss, get the crystal, next crystal, which is orange. And I hope that made sense. I hope it works. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think, and I will send you this picture again. Thank you, Marty, and thank you for your advice, and yeah, thank you. Happy night.